Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. Today I've got a very important video to share with you, and it's an update in regards to that Snapchat post at 5:27 a.m. in the morning. The particular post showing Mikey in bed with Jasmine Milan, Logan Jernigan at 5:27 a.m. Monday morning, the day of Noah's death, but around the time of when Caden Pressey was at the highway with Mikey. Yeah, that's what the conflict is. But the update specifically is an alternative photo around the same exact time of where it shows Mikey awake. That the previous Snapchat post, what we did look at, was just in the moment when his eyes were closed. And at least at that time, it was interpreted, it'd be a fair interpretation, right? Where one looks like they're asleep. We saw a little bit of conflict, or at least I did as well, when referring back to Jack Newton, which might have been mentioned over the Partners in True Crime interview, which we briefly looked at some point some days ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, about Jack Newton either waking up or being woken up at a certain time, 5:30 in the morning, and noticing that Mikey was awake, that he never went to sleep. And I was a bit confused with that with the photo I saw on Snapchat, but it's all going to be resolved today, and it'll be like a little tick off the list. It might not please everyone, but I'm going to do a certain order today. I'm also going to reiterate and go over previous other posts or photos in the correct order of timestamps, slowly but surely adding along the way, filling in some grey areas and maybe answering people's questions indirectly. Of course, if you have any additional questions you would like to add on, or after watching this video, be sure to leave your comments down below under the video, and I can always respond back to them later. Speaking of which, later in this video, if there is time, I'm going to try and respond back to people's comments from a previous video that I've done. See if there's any important information or questions that need to be answered, give my point of view and analysis. And right now, for those that are currently watching this live premiere for the very first time, welcome. Share your thoughts, reactions in the live chat box on the right-hand side of the screen there, and let me know what you think. As said, we've got a handful of photos and bits and bobs to get through today, but there is really only one that's important, and I'll make it clear when we get to it. But I would like to have it in an appropriate order so you can try and follow and understand it as we go along. As a heads up and disclaimer, it is somewhat blurred out just to follow, the theme in recent time. By following the theme, respecting some wishes, it's what enables the continuation of this material along the way. Other people burn bridges down. I don't see the need to do so. But once again, a little bit more negotiation. It will be of your benefit today based off the clarity and seeing the photo and it being a lot clearer. The only slight little drawback is no timestamp provided, but arguably with a bit of common sense based off what's seen visually, you'd probably be able to tie it in with the other snap photo. These specifically are photos. Previous stuff, when we've looked at other points of views like Caden Pressey, that would have been a screenshot from a video. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. Now, one thing I would also like to highlight is, in recent time, it's been going quite well as for the chat in terms of the activity, responses, key people showing up. Hopefully that can continue, keep the momentum going, which can directly or indirectly help the case. For anyone that is interested in recent coverage and the live chat, you'll be able to find them top right corner of the screen up there where the eye symbol is. There'll be the full playlist to the case and the loose videos as well under that, which I've done last few days. And as well, if you do want to support the channel in an alternative, practical, anonymous way, down below in the comment section, pinned message at the top, by me will be additional links if you want to follow through with them, or if you want to be a member on the channel, there'll be a link, or if you want to show support through PayPal, there is a link there. But of course, it's very important to acknowledge before we go any further into the main part of the video is those last night. I did give like separate shout outs. So right now, just collectively, once again, to reiterate, big shout out to everyone that supported the channel last night. And those super chats, super stickers, there's a lot of them back to back, big boy ones out of nowhere, bursting onto the screen. Obviously very positive to see. Started off with Brooke Bounds Carter donating 100 earrings to me. 100 earrings. That's quite a lot. It's going to weigh my ears down and stretch them extra long. I think shout out to Tim Daniel that gave 10 bottles worth of Jack Daniels. So that's going to go down really well. And then there was another person, can't remember the name, I can't remember the first letter, but you know, I gave shout outs last night with the other 100 and then the other 50. Shout out to them. And the other person, something, what's it called? Twinkle Star. I can't remember the name. I get mixed up with the names. I think it was a brown profile picture with 20 Milky Way stars given. So a lot is going on. But let's not forget Beauty Garumo. She played her part as well. Actually, in this video, Beauty has not paid me off, but actually donated some of her high-end exclusive makeup to apply later. What the hell is that all about? Well, if you stick around long enough, you will find out. And as for those earrings, I'll have to try and figure out how they clip on. But with that all being said, shout out to everyone from last night and welcome to anyone else watching and new viewers along the way. I think we should get right into this video and begin. To start things off, you should be familiar with this one in particular, but this time round, I finally got round to showing you a still screenshot of the footage from Caden Pressey's point of view and the actual timestamp of when it took place. Because there has been other party footage which we've all seen by now, but the timestamp is never given as like an overlay. Unless if it was maybe a Snapchat post, you would get some kind of time overlay. The only other way you check the time overlay of a recording from a phone, such as in the gallery section, would be to go into the gallery and then click on view information, or it would be mentioned at the top of the screen, such as with, I think, iPhone. And you can see that right there. Some people previously have got confused saying, oh, is this a photo taken by Caden Pressey? No, this is a video recorded by Caden Pressey, sat down. You see his knee brace as well. This is just a screenshot from Caden's recording. A still screenshot, not a photo, a screenshot. And I will zoom in, just make it easier for everyone. Look up there. Caden Pressey, when he recorded Georgia near to the kitchen area, main purpose and reason behind it was to show to Alicia that Georgia is safe and okay. You don't need to worry. Melissa, the mother, does not need to collect Georgia. It's all fine. Caden will watch over her. Caden looking out for his cousin. All makes sense, all above board. That's good to see. Caden Pressey said at 10:30 p.m. Sunday night, that's when Georgia arrived with her friend Breely. Whether they were drunk or not when turning up, they remained at the party. Caden wasn't anticipating for them to come on down, or at least Georgia. So like 20 minutes later at 10:50, that's when Caden Pressey does the recording, and there you go, you see the timestamp for yourself. So finally, and I say finally in a way because I probably should have done this earlier, but been so busy with all the other important stuff, you can kind of see it for yourself. Now maybe, granted, I do a separate short clip just showing it once again, so it's easier to find for reference. I'll take that into consideration. But I just wanted to show you one of the more raw original party clips publicly, what we've seen, but we never saw the actual timestamp. Well, here you are at 10:50 p.m. Sunday night. That's when Caden Pressey records people at the party house. And the actual screenshot of this, because it's like from the original video within the gallery, the actual quality of the image is a lot clearer. And in terms of when we're talking about who wears shoes and who doesn't, well, Caden Pressey was wearing his Hey Dude shoes when he panned down with the camera at first, as you saw. But also there's a guy on the couch, the sofa, as you see there, and he's wearing shoes as well on the sofa. That could trigger some people in terms of hygiene and cleanliness, but with being a party, younger people, they're probably not going to care as much. Was Noah Presgrove wearing shoes in the house? Probably not. It's hard to see because you can't check because it's blocked. But people could be thinking, why do we need to check for shoes with Noah? Well, you know, the black Adidas ones, when was he wearing them, when wasn't he? And the significance of it at the highway and the missing Adidas shoe on the right foot. Little references like that. We've highlighted to an extent who is who. Noah Presgrove in the middle. Then on the left, Breely with a ponytail, friends to Georgia, who's there, Caden's cousin in the white shirt. Behind Georgia, with the orange baseball cap, is Jack Newton. By the side of Georgia could possibly be Isaac Rojas. I'm not sure for definite, but it could be. In the background, I believe it's likely Carter Combs, and could that be Logan Jernigan? Maybe. Or Avery. And then over there to the left, I think, is Jasmine Milan in a grey shirt. And then behind could well be Stephanie. Behind Jasmine Milan, Stephanie Milan, and possible Stephanie's boyfriend too. Not everybody is in this shot. As for the one on the sofa, that could possibly be Brylan Sweat. Not guaranteed. I'm basing it off the jeans, the whitish coloured shoes. It reminds me of that. I think there was a few of the more people further to the right, and I think I described one of them wearing some kind of dodgy clothing, but I think that might have just been the camera quality and the lighting, how I interpreted it. So nothing too bad there. But once again, what I just want to reiterate is, for a party that may have been described as chaotic and underage drinking and alcohol all over the place, people are stood up. People are talking to one another. People are not glued to their phones, and there's not much mess either. This is Sunday night. This is the night when the shit goes down and things start getting wild, right? When the 40 people show up. But at least in this moment at 10:50 p.m, familiar faces, people that know one another present. Any Texas boys in shot from this angle? No. Any members from Justin Roy's family? Not that I can see myself. This is just one room, but it's quite an open plan room, which involves the kitchen area, dining, lounge. As for any other rooms or bedrooms, who knows, that could be there. As for outside, who knows, that could be on the front patio or around the back at the moment. But at least for this one, it just seems relatively normal, doesn't it? It doesn't even seem that messy whatsoever. So if at any point there was need to clean things up, what would it be cleaned up then? To be honest, when we saw the footage of Noah Presgrove on the table and Jack Newton was licking the cream up, where was that? What room did that take place in? Because from that point of view, that seemed a lot more messy and cluttered compared to here. Maybe it's from a different angle. As for the table, some cans, and then is it Jenga or something, like a tower, Jenga tower? I don't know why it's the first thing that came to my mind there, just because of the stack, the height of it. Nevertheless, you get to see something different for once. 10:50 p.m. This one does not have a timestamp on, but it's been described as Monday morning at 1:50 a.m. September 4th. Why is that significant? Because it counters Jack Newton's, past claim of, well, I went to sleep at such and such a time. Well, no, you were still awake. So it rules that out, which then led to Jack changing the time and pushing it onwards to around 2 a.m. So supposedly 10 minutes after this photo, that's when Jack went to sleep. And the next time he woke up was, 5:30 in the morning. We'll get to that. As for Noah Presgrove, anything significant here? We can clearly see that Noah is wearing the black shorts. As for Jack Newton, though, Jack is wearing a pair of jeans. But as for Sunday, he's still wearing jeans. It's just because you couldn't see the full length of it. So no change in clothing there. But If I may add, and I don't know how far it applies, but speaking of clothing, both Noah Presgrove are wearing their hats. Both Noah and Jack lost their hats. Some say Noah's hat was returned back to family. Other family members say, we've not seen it, we've not heard about that, it's still presumed missing. Jack Newton said to his father Caleb at 5:53, roughly, Monday morning, "Oh, somebody messed with my hat at the party. Can you go and fetch me a spare or something?" How did they both lose their hats? Did they both lose them at the party? Did Noah lose his hat when he was murdered, or somehow died, I should say? Did Noah lose his hat before he walked out of the party house and went on, towards the highway? Just these little questions, because in this particular photo, yes, Noah Presgrove wearing black shorts. Yes, he's got the chain around his neck in good condition. As for the hats, nowhere to be seen. In the background, can't really see anything. There's like a can on the side. Jack holding his. I mean, to be honest, Jack Newton's facial expressions, he looks like he's in a trance, like, oh Noah, with those eyes. But as for Noah Presgrove, he's like, yeah, whatever. And it's just like a harmless selfie. That's all it... Well, it's not a selfie because they're not taking it themselves. Actually, the question is, does anyone know who actually took the photo of Noah and Jack? Who was holding the phone? Who exactly was it? So with this being 1:50 in the morning, later onwards, Noah Presgrove returning back to this particular room for the shower. That shower situation after the side-by-side rollover. Side-by-side rollover, only timestamp given by the likes of Caden Pressey, who was shown a photo which originated from a video of the after effects of the rollover. Supposedly Jack Newton says, or had said, and people have re-quoted it since, that there is no footage, no photos, no videos of a side-by-side rollover. How would Jack know if he was asleep? Is he in a position to talk? Based off that interpretation, no. So we still listen to Caden Pressey for now. And that was at 2:40 or 2:41, roughly. It was 2:43 when Caden woke up because of Alicia calling about Georgia making it back home safely. And supposedly just before 2 in the morning is when Georgia Brealey were leaving anyway and going down the highway, and then things started moving. So you get a bit of like little history of timelines of what had gone on. In terms of what direction Brealey, Georgia were driving, were they going north or south to Terrell? I can't remember. I don't remember hearing it worded specifically, but if anyone wants to fill in the blanks there, you can do so. So moving on to the next one, 3:41. Noah already gone by then, walked away, supposedly at 3:30 in the morning from what Jack had said. Moving on to the next one, we have this particular more standout snap, which came out in recent time, which people will be familiar with by now, and others who've seen it for the first time. A Snapchat post in particular, September 4th, 2023, 4:30 a.m. of Carter Combs on the left, Logan Jernigan on the right. Logan wearing a blue top, a lightly coloured one. Take that for future reference when we get on to the next few slides. And yeah, this particular phone and device, what it's being shown on, is the same phone that will be shown with some additional snaps in just a second. The significance or the reference to 4:30 a.m. being just before that time, just before this snap selfie was posted at the party house, they had come back from searching for Noah Presgrove. For it to make sense, around 30 minutes spent outside searching. Other people estimated up to an hour long, but if it really was an hour long, to fit it all in would mean people went searching the moment Caden walked away, which wasn't the case, wouldn't make sense or tie in line. But 30-minute search would make more sense, and then getting back to the house at around 4:30 to take the selfie. Now, as for the facial expressions, not looking too happy at this particular time. What, directly because they couldn't find Noah, or just because they wanted to pose for the camera and it was a harmless selfie. You can interpret it however you want. But we're moving on to this particular one. Yes, it was more censored and it might be a bit annoying now and aggravating for some, but don't worry, there has been compromise since. This particular snap, which was at September 4th, same day, but at 5:27 a.m. The significance, as I mentioned earlier, will be reiterated in a second or so. And as for the people in the shot, it was basically Jasmine Milan, Mikey Lair, Logan, Jernigan. Blue top, as you see there, blue top, as you see here on the right. If we move on to the next one, the reason why I've mentioned this, or at least a screenshot, is just like a brief reference with some subtitles. Last Partisan True Crime interview done on the case, which had Ashley Robin as guest, reacting to a pre-recording interview of Jack Newton over the phone. And it was mentioned that, I think this was coming from Robin's mouth possibly, but Jasmine Milan said that she woke Jack up at 5 a.m. and told him about the news of Noah's death or so, or Noah going missing more so. I should say that more so, going missing. Just before the interview of Jack was paused and this was mentioned, before that, Jack Newton said himself roughly that around 5:30 a.m. in the morning of Monday is when Jasmine woke him up, I believe, about Noah not being around, not being present, missing specifically at that time. And when Jack was awake at that point, he noticed that Mikey Lair still hadn't gone to sleep, interpreted as still awake, never slept in the first place. And there are still contradictions there, because Caden said, well, Mikey Lair was asleep earlier, around the time of when Caden went to sleep, sleeping on the floor near to the chairs and reclining sofa where Caden was sleeping. And maybe at some point, well, not maybe, but at some point, Mikey Lair switching places with, I think it's Isaac Rojas. Now, it makes me wonder, the time of when Isaac Rojas switched places with Mikey, does it link whatsoever to this particular snap here, even though it's at a different time later on? In fairness, though, this definitely looks like a bed in a bedroom. So whilst from 2 a.m. to 5:15, Mikey on the floor. From 5:15 onwards, Mikey at some point makes it to one of the girls' beds. At least from the layout of what I see here, it doesn't look like a sofa, does it? And it's, maybe we can get a little bit more into that later, more so my mind in trying to understand it. But really, as I was referring to earlier, is that if Jack noticed that Mikey was awake or still awake, then how does it justify this particular snap of Mikey asleep? And I did say, with the uncensored version, Mikey had his eyes closed and his hand behind him. He looked like he was out of it. And as for the two other girls, they were awake. So what's the deal there? Who's right, Jack or somebody else? Is Jack being inconsistent? Well, this is where we move on to the next one. This is where the compromise comes in. And I'll zoom in just a second. Granted, you can't see the timestamp of the snap, but what you will be able to notice is the timing of the person's device at the time of when this photo, not what's on screen or internally, but externally, was taken to then pass on, such as to me. I hope that makes sense. You're holding the device out in front of you, you're using a different phone to take a photo of it on screen. Kind of like what Caden Pressey's girlfriend did in the past when it came to being in that diner with Logan Jernigan, JJ Bumpass, when Jack Newton was texting Caden Pressey through Snapchat. You remember that? and it was taken with another phone, Caden's girlfriend, and that was done to not alert anybody. Maybe it was done this way as a means of not overlapping, not incriminating, not manipulating, not harming the original true raw footage on that particular device. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would understand it in that sense. But, you know, it's a lot clearer, this particular image. And yes, the colour tone is rather reddish or pink, purplish. But then again, if it's through Snapchat, if there's any filters, it can be added within, you know, the original photo taken. So that's all normal, above board. But just look at top left corner of the phone itself, 11:51 the time. Not the time which links to the photo, two completely different things. It's just the timing of the phone at the time of this person holding it in their hand. 11:51, and it just so happens like it's 11:51 here. So it was done at the same time as in getting a handful of these photo screenshots to then pass on to other people, though this particular one, I did not receive it straight away. It only came about recently. Did it come from the dark side? I don't know. Did it come from the light side? I don't know. It just came from a random individual on this particular occasion, right? But it's still consistent with the theme of what we're looking at. So what I'll do now is zoom in, and hopefully it's clear enough. You might have to tilt your head a little bit because it's at a slight angle, but in terms of who's present in the shot, you've got, first of all, in the background, you seem to have a white pillow and maybe a headboard, a backboard, which would imply that they're in a bed. Whose bed exactly? Logan's, Carter's, or Avery's? I'm not too sure. But it's just interesting that Mikey Lair is in a bed. And no, I'm not interpreting that in a negative way. I'm just saying that it's interesting because Caden Pressey said at 2 a.m. up to 5:15 at least that Mikey Lair was either on the floor and or switching places with Isaac Rojas. Now maybe some minutes ago I might have worded it a bit incorrectly, so apologies about that. And I'll just reiterate it again just to make sure no one's confused. That from 2 a.m. to 2:43, Mikey was on the floor near to the chairs. Isaac Rojas was on one of the chairs, recliners or sofas, the furniture. Pretty simple, right? From then on, 2:43 to the next time Caden woke up, which was supposedly 5:15, Mikey Lair was now sleeping where Isaac Rojas was. Isaac now on the floor. So they switched places up to 5:15. So then that would mean that if it's 5:27 a.m, this particular snap, or roughly close to 5:27 or 5:28 or 5:26, 1 minute time difference between the other snap from the other angle with the same people in the same room, in the same bed, that Mikey had switched places 2 times. If we're incorporating Caden Pressey's timeline to an extent, with this particular snap here, Mikey wasn't just on the floor. Mikey didn't just switch places with Isaac on the furniture, but Mikey somehow managed to get in one of the girls' beds to sleep, to rest, or just to take a harmless selfie, and that's it. A harmless selfie that just so happens to be very important, because you've got to take in mind and consider this does conflict with Caden Pressey's timeline, making Caden's timeline look incorrect. I'm just basing it off observations, that's all. But you focus in, you can see on the right is Logan Jernigan. Are they smiling? They're kind of like pushing the lips out, just posing for the camera, harmless, having a good time in a way, no issues there. Makes sense? I mean, to be honest, as for Logan's hair, almost as messy as my hair when I'm doing a bloody video. But that's not important. Down here, if you tilt your head, it keeps spazzing out. If you tilt your head to the left, you can see Jasmine Milan gritting her teeth but smiling, having fun, happy. What I will say is what's kind of interesting, and it could be anything in particular, I can't quite work it out, but Jasmine Milan has a fist clench with a thumbs up, kind of similar to what you saw in the previous snap around the same time. But you know what I've noticed? It looks like she's got a tattoo. Why does that matter? Well, it does all come down to what hand in the first place and the placement of it. It appears to be around the wrist area, reaching up to onto the hand knuckle. It's only because Jasmine Milan was the one to get a tattoo in memory or to honour Noah Presgrove. But I believe that was done, was it October? It might have been done in October. I remember it being reposted on Reddit. So this will be a different tattoo, of course, because of the timing of it. But it reminded me, that's all. So Jasmine Milan, smiling, having a good time, no issues there. Logan, posing for the camera. And of course, main man, key individual, Mikey Lair. Hopefully you can see him. Hopefully you can see the eyes. The eyes are open. In terms of the previous Snapchat post or slide, what I was on a second or two before, Mikey had his eyes closed, which in the past, with the only photo I had, I internalised it as, oh, he must be sleeping. Well, I can confirm, with proof and evidence on screen, Mikey Lair at 5:27 was awake. So it ties in line, reinforces with what Jack Newton said, that if it is true that he had been woken up at 5:30 or near to that time, that Mikey was still awake. Because as you see here, a few minutes before Jack waking up, Mikey was awake and likely awake a few minutes afterwards as well. So we've got a little bit of consistency there, which is a positive. Mikey himself smiling, nothing odd going on here. But of course, it's very important trying to work this all out, because if you was to say Caden Pressey's timeline was true, if Caden Pressey only mentioned that he, Brylan and Isaac went to the highway, then this particular Snapchat post wouldn't be countering Caden in the sense of, well, you know, you said Mikey was with you, but Mikey was here. Scrap that. But it would still raise questions and eyebrows, as in the atmosphere at the time, the facial expressions. What we see on here does not match Caden Pressey's timeline, because if these people knew that Noah Presgrove was dead at 5:15 onwards, I don't think they would be taking a selfie like this and smiling, you know, really positively. They just wouldn't be, would they? In terms of Mikey Lair's hand, I guess that's just, I don't know what that actually means, to be honest. What's in his hand, though? Is that a vape? Not too sure, maybe. Doesn't really matter that much. But to put it into perspective, these individuals, more so Logan, because we saw it in the earlier post here, that at 4:30 a.m, at a time of when really no one knew about Noah Presgrove dead, unless you was to add in Jack Newton's name, because he was the one to say that's the time, well, earlier at 4 when Noah passed away. But we don't know whether if Jack knows that firsthand or more so police telling him. We've not seen the full-on evidence proof follow-up of that since, so just interpreting it in different ways. What I'm trying to get at is at 4:30 a.m, when it was more fresh and raw about Noah Presgrove's departure from the party house and the uncertainty of where he could be. A supposed failed search yielded no results, making it back. Whether the context links to that with this post or not, these individuals here look a little bit more sad compared to time passing by at around 5:27, where, well, more so just Logan, because Carter's not in this shot, but regardless, certain same-said individuals like Jasmine, Logan, not Mikey then. but anyone else in between, going out searching for Noah supposedly earlier, maybe being sad, upset, confused. Where's he at? We miss him. But anyway, 5:27 in the morning, take a selfie here, smiling, having a good time. So the mood and atmosphere did change, a bit like a roller coaster ride, a bit up, a bit down. Down when not knowing where Noah is, searching, a little bit worried, concerned. But then later, well, he's probably okay. He'll probably return back. Oh, he's probably taking a ride back home. Never mind. And then back up to, hey, let's take a selfie. That's how it could be interpreted. Does anything else need to be edited or highlighted or acknowledged? And when I say edited, I meant enhanced to make the image clearer. In all fairness, this is probably one of the clearest images seen in a while. And to be honest, that earlier one from Caden Pressey's point of view, that particular raw screenshot of the video, that's quite good too. I mean, yes, at times there might be videos passed along the way, but the quality ain't great. I know people have been referring to a potential video of Noah Presgrove wearing white shorts. Have I seen it myself? In terms of a particular clip which supposedly shows it, you see like little tiny corner of the screen, a bit of whiteness. Is it good enough? Is it clear enough? Not really. I think the mention was, let's try and find, well, not me exactly, but others. Let's try and find a clearer clip. If that's unsuccessful, or if there's delays in between, maybe the raw one can be shown on the channel, but I don't think it'll be good enough. I don't think people will be satisfied with it enough, I'll be honest. But, you know, if people really, really want it, like desperately, then maybe it could be shown or demonstrated in some way. Take in mind, I've had to cover other stuff in between and catch up there. I want to be able to catch up and keep up so I don't fall behind. The only other thing I noticed here was there was like a black sheeting or blanket, which would further imply a bed. So it's just interesting that on top of Caden Pressey's timeline, where this particular Snapchat post will counter some of it and turn it upside down, it may also bring into questioning about when Caden said where Mikey was when sleeping, supposedly, or when resting, and then at what time did Mikey move about? What time did he make it to one of the beds? It's just interesting. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comment section. And now we will transition onto the comment section of the video that I uploaded last night. Whether it directly links to today's topic or not, certain names will pop up, such as Caden Pressey's and other things along the way. I just want to catch up, and amongst other things, let the other stuff simmer. If you want to talk about it in the live chat, you can do so. And if there's any conclusions or additional points I'd like to add on after this, I'll do so. And for anyone else that's still sticking around, the surprise will come at the end, and in credit and reference to the super chats last night or super stickers, it's the least I can do. With that being said, I need to adjust it to the newest. Welcome to anyone that has joined this live premiere late. Be sure to rewind back if you want, or more so, rewind back and play on catch up later on. We keep this moving and the flow, starting with the bottom, working our way up. Sherry Wright, good afternoon. Hi there, welcome, and welcome if you're here tonight. We got Marie as well, welcome. Sherry, I believe Caden Pressey. Renee seems fishy in my opinion. What say would she have in the matter if she allegedly didn't attend the party? I mean, that could be applied to other family members and parents of parents, guardians and whatnot. But, this person's safe. Why does she even matter? Caden Pressey said she was on the scene at 6 and the house 6:30. This is Alicia lying, giving her son things to say. Almost all this stuff has been made up along the line. Renee left her house at 6:20 there and around 7. Pretty simple. Wait. Caden Pressey said that she was at the scene at 6, made it to the house at 6:30. That's correct from the Partners in True Crime interview, from what I remember, to say that Alicia is lying, giving her son things like that to say. How do we know then? When it comes to Caden Pressey, in that same Partners in True Crime interview, Caden said he had left the house with the guys at 7 in the morning, dropping the guys off along the way, and then for Caden to make it back home at around 8 to 8:15 onwards, where Alicia's husband were, and that's when Caden broke the news. So instead of Caden calling Alicia or texting, Caden wanted to go back home and then tell the news face to face, for whatever reason. Okay. Alicia, though, on Facebook at one point, whether that be before or after the Partners in True Crime interview, it would be important to know the context as to when. Maybe it would make more or less sense. Alicia said on Facebook that at 6 in the morning, that's when we called the police about the news of Noah's death. How would they know at 6 in the morning when Caden Pressey said he told his parents around 8 in the morning once Caden made it back home? Who's really telling the truth there? Supposedly the comment was supposedly edited by Alicia, or it was added on with a follow-up response by saying after 6 in the morning. Still saying after 6 in the morning, you're correcting a previous comment statement. I get that, but to just say, oh, well, after 6 in the morning, it sounds like you're not really too sure of what the actual time was then. That's what's a little bit messy. But it wasn't Alicia putting those words into Caden's mouth, because Caden, as an individual, by himself, mentioned 8 in the morning is when he made it home, when he told his parents the news. Then Alicia says on Facebook it was actually 6 in the morning when we found out about the news. 6 in the morning, well, Caden would still have been at the party house. For Alicia to know, Caden would have to have messaged or phone called Alicia about it. But it wouldn't tie in line with the Partners in True Crime interview. A little bit messy. What else? Tyler Hardy, or the Tyler H, never saw her at the scene. Had she been there 30 minutes, he would have. If she drove up and said something to Jack, probably not so much. Safia. She does matter because she tampered with evidence getting the guns removed from the house. And in terms of the reference of she, Safia is referring to Renee Millan, the mother to Jasmine and Stephanie, who were partygoers. That's why when it comes to my comments or messages, I try and keep mentioning people's names, or at least their initials, because you can get lost in a train of thought. And I'll tell you something a bit later on when it comes to Noah Presgrove's girlfriend at the time. I was on the same wavelength. It's because of how people spelled it and pronounced it. Oh boy. We'll get to that later. We will get to that later. It's another Warlike Wrath under control moment in a way, through miscommunication, piss poor language, and more. In the meantime, Sherry says, I believe the kids were told to leave, Caden, Brylan, Mikey, Isaac, because they were minors being supplied with alcohol. Apparently the adults thought they could hide that fact and provide a manner of protection for the girls who threw the party, mostly Avery and Carter, in my opinion. There's a bit of conflict, though. If the kids were told to leave by such as an adult like Renee Millan, because Renee wanted the other girls and other people to be protected, so the guys could be the fall guys or misdirect some of the evidence or hide it elsewhere and leave before police get there. Well, Renee was the one that said there was no point tidying up the alcohol, there's no point cleaning up anything, with the exception of the firearms for some reason. The police are going to know you had a party, so there's no point trying to hide it. It was Caden Pressey, though, that said himself, whether that be the Partners in True Crime interview, the private interview, that he himself made the idea to clean up and help because he wanted to protect everyone. He didn't want anyone to get in trouble for underage drinking, for those that were at the party and those that left but were there earlier. Caden Pressey wanted to protect everyone in a positive way. Renee thought, what's the point? She said it in a statement. So it kind of conflicts with what's, I guess, mentioned here, but it's just a concept. Robbie Taylor says to Sherry, how do you explain then Caden Pressy saying it was originally my idea to start cleaning up the beer cans, because at the time we thought it was a hit and run and we didn't want no one at the party house getting in trouble for the beer. That was our intentions on cleaning the beer. Cleaning up was just like picking up beer cans and throwing them in the trash can, because we didn't, y'all, were underage. Both of these are quoted from his OHP interview. There we go. Robbie Taylor, woo, pulling out the quotes out of thin air. But, you know, basically that's what I was saying before. So, you know, on the same wavelength. That's obviously a good thing. What else do we have here? Both of these interviews. So Caden was the one that started cleaning up the evidence of drinking, according to his own statement to HP, not adults. Let's start clearing up these rumours instead of spreading them. And Beth says, bingo, to who exactly? Why does that disappear? Get back on. Sherry, how many vehicles could possibly have taken a back road to avoid the police? Let's see. Justin, sounds that they're cop out of everything. Guess everyone took the back roads. Wait, what? Where's that come from? The whole back road thing was me just simply interpreting it from what Caden Pressy was getting at. By taking a right turn down a country road, which is opposite to the first sandplank crossing, which was the marker area of where the partygoers stopped at when searching for no, then turn back to the party house. Take a right down that country road, which Kane did, then take a left, then take another left, then take a right, and then back on the highway heading north. As for any other vehicles in between that, I don't know. I mean, okay, there's that reference in recent times saying that there was 22 vehicles which did not go south, but they went north instead. If they were heading north, there would have been further back south to get to the north area, meaning they would have gone through Terrell at some point, would they not? Surely. Unless the 22 vehicles were all leaving from in between of the town to the party house and in between there. But what's about any off-road parts, back roads? Well, there are back roads. There's that to take in mind. It's just because Jack Newton, Stevie Howard were the ones saying that there was zero traffic at the mini-mart cameras. Well, if there's truly zero traffic at a certain time or throughout, then why are we seeing recent comments recently about 22 vehicles or so going north down the highway, and possibly at the time of before Noah's body was reported in by police, maybe? And then anyway, what about at 4:48 to 5 in the morning, where you had that woman that was heading south, going down to Terrell to go onto that casino, that particular one? She would have been caught on camera. Why is no mention of traffic report there, even if it's just one vehicle? Why say there's zero traffic when there's at least one vehicle, supposedly? So, were those cameras at the mini-mart actually working? Was the claim of zero traffic actually true? It seems hard to believe, to be honest. Even if it's just one stray car or vehicle, you'd think there'd be something at least passing on. But of course, around a time of when there was a roadblock down the highway, taking a detour down the dirt road, or one of them, if you're familiar with the dirt roads and where they end up, other people could take them. Yeah, if you want to get back home, you want to go north, whether you're from the party or not, or passing on through down to Terrell to go north, you'd have to take a alternative way. It depends how far down the road was closed off in terms of where the signs would be at to alert people early on so they can turn about or turn off a road and like a diversion. That's all. Robbie Taylor, we took back roads all the time. Nothing new about that. Bet they don't do it now, though, if Ellie really is watching social media. Beth, yeah, Jack Newton was allowed to drive around and to the scene ×2 that we know of, and after drinking for 3 days, allowed to drive around to the scene twice. Is that a mention of the 5:15 timestamp of where, for some reason, Jack's at the highway, then comes back to tell people, then returns back. Well, at 5:15, there'd be no roadblocks whatsoever. If it was at 6 in the morning to 6:15, there still wouldn't be roadblocks, so Jack would be able to go there back and forth if he really needed to. Yeah. Justin, wonder why the house cameras worked, yet when Noah walked off, they didn't work. How weird. Right, so what Justin is getting at here is probably influenced as well by what he may remember, or more so what I might have mentioned in the comment section or video of mine in the past on YouTube specifically, where I said that I remember a comment by Stevie Howard saying how the cameras were not working at the party house, but they were working at the time of when Texas boys were leaving the house, which was shortly afterwards when Noah left at 3:30. So there's that. George, it seems on the 911 call that there was a lot of vehicles mentioned, literally a parade of vehicles discussed, and I keep on thinking about various Polish jokes. Or Polish. Oh shit. How many vehicles does it take to pick up a drunken 16.5-year-old girl? I know I'm stretching it, so it went from no traffic whatsoever to too many. Go figure it out. What? Okay. Jack claimed there was no traffic at all. So there's a bit of an issue there. But wasn't it Stevie as well that mentioned no traffic at some point? Teresa, does he know that the medical examiner is why it's ruled undetermined? Feds still stand by. Right. We got Lorraine. Caden Pressey had said the same thing in the past about Renee telling them to leave. Okay. It's just that Renee herself says she didn't tell them to leave. So why does Renee say one thing, Caden says another? One's telling the truth, the other one's lying. Why would they need to lie? We've got Lee Leia. Everyone, yes, pray for Noah's family. However, they are true warriors. Pray for conviction on Avery, Carter, and Jack's cold hearts. Maybe they will confess soon. Beth, they aren't going to confess, and that's why they're attacking Caden Pressey and his mum, Alicia, because they're witnesses. I know the truth. I can't wait till Caden Pressey's timelines are broadcasted, as that's what's going to break this case wide open, along with some who were at the scene. Carl says, comment deleted. Whose comment was deleted? I don't know. One thing that I did notice, though, on YouTube just recently, is that every now and then, just to check in, I go to the YouTube studio, I go onto comments, I click on held for review, and there was a fair range of them held for review, meaning they weren't public. Of course, I approved every single one. So if you go back now and refresh the screen, you'll be able to see it. But what I'd like to know is, why the hell did YouTube hide comments in the first place and moderate them when on my damn video I've got the comments set to do not remove any, allow all comments? When you allow all comments, yes, it does welcome spam, dodgy comments, dodgy accounts, but it means more freedom of speech, technically speaking. Yet despite having that setting turned on, YouTube still hid comments from my channel. And I ended up finding some recently. It's so dumb. Don't know why it does that. AJ Williams. So I guess when Alicia has used Caden Pressey's account pretending to be him and answering questions as him, that could also be considered fake. Oh, I guess AJ referring to a fake account. Caden Pressey being Caden Pressey behind the account, but every now and then Alicia signs in as Caden, pretending to be Caden and speak for Caden, which people won't be aware of. But do we have proof that that's happened? I've not seen it myself. Beth, either way, at least they used their real names, her, unlike the dark side. Well, if Alicia Pressey, same individual. If Alicia comments under her own account and says what she's got to say, fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. But if it was ever true that Alicia ever used Caden Pressey's YouTube account and was talking as if it was Caden, that is problematic. And I think that's what AJ is possibly hinting at. AJ, when Alicia Lee is on his account pretending to be him, then no, that wouldn't be her using her real name. It's her pretending to be someone like Caden. Exactly. Do we have proof of that happening, though? Not to my knowledge. Have I seen Alicia use her account to comment herself? Yes. But who knows what goes on in between? Beth, and it's still a real account. We're not quite breaking it there, are we? You can have real accounts, as real as they can be and as established as they are. But it's like with me, myself now, Warlike Ref. I'm a real account. I'm an established individual on YouTube by now, with 6+ million total channel views. Yeah, it makes me real, but if, let's say tomorrow, Beauty Garumo decides to sign in under my account and speak on behalf of me, pretending to be Warlike Ref, and they're saying, "Hey guys, I got the latest beauty products. Would y'all like some, man? Mister? I know you would. I'm gonna give you some red lipstick right now, mister. Don't y'all worry, man. All fine and dandy, free of charge. Come on over to my TikTok page as well, mister. Thank you very much, y'all." If something was like that to take place in terms of a comment, a message, people would be thinking, oh yeah, it's just Warlike Ref advertising his beauty products and much more. No harm in that. It's a real account. Yes, but somebody else is doing the talking, not myself. Now, just as a heads up, that's only an example. That has not happened. But if it has happened with other people, other real accounts, but someone else signed in, pretending to be that person, it's just not good. Because even if there is consistency or truth said, you haven't got the transparency or trust that what you're listening to and hearing from is from the horse's mouth. No, you're actually hearing it from a secondary person, but you're not led to know that at the time. So it's still a break in trust. It's still a problem. But I don't think Beth is understanding. Well, it's not that Beth is not understanding my point of view, because this is a previous comment, but I think Beth is not quite understanding what AJ Williams is getting at here. Of course, at the end of the day, when Beth says about there are other people from the dark side or other people out there using fake accounts, if that's the case, well, that isn't good. That's unfortunate. But then from the light side perspective, there could be fake accounts there as well. So it could be a bit messy all over the place. But what else do we have? Clearly, you aren't familiar with the term impersonation. It's still someone faking and pretending to be someone else. Bless your heart. I know that comprehension ability is over your head. I mean, the only time when it can be considered impersonation and a fake account at the same time would be what I've experienced in the past, where there was desperate people that created an alternative account with the same profile picture, username as me, pretending to be me. It was clear it wasn't the same person, it was a fake, because he had less subscribers, no videos on the channel, but there was an attempt made to impersonate me. It was fake, it was silly, but it happened. That's just a separate example. Micheline says, they think everyone is fake when they haven't. I could care less. I ain't in their stupid groups anymore, but soon Noah's friends will have the vindication they deserve. Noah would not want this for his best friend. Beth clown emoji. Luana to AJ, your tribe is adept at fake pages, right? See, the only thing to acknowledge, because I haven't forgotten, and I don't know if it was rebranded or it was just a completely different group. At the time of when you had Noah Presgrove's Army, that Facebook page, whether that be when it was a public page or when it was going private, on the sideline, you did have a public page called the same thing, Noah Presgrove's Army, with the same profile picture too. But it was like a fake impersonation one in a way. It was a page set up by a person called Tim Howard, I think. And maybe Stevie Howard was a part of it. Was that the same page or group that was then rebranded to Sofa Sleuth page? I don't know completely, but It just seemed like there was like an alternative page to rival the army page, the original one. Whether that be done as in a dark way or for other reasons, I just remember it. Does anyone else? Beth says, BBC, comical coming from you and your clan. We know all about you. You must need some extra attention in your miserable life. Maybe your boyfriend needs to step it up. Oh no. Does that mean we're bringing somebody else's name into the mix? So, okay, you had Stevie Howard and who was it? Landon Armstrong. You've had Caleb Newton and then Rosa Newton being dragged into this case. Not so much Caleb, because Caleb's had appliances in the case because they're paying on the highway and whatnot. But as for Rosa, no part there. But you see how names can get brought in. So if we're talking about Brooke Bounds Carter's boyfriend, why does the boyfriend need to step up? What, to please Brooke Bounds Carter or to step up in this case? Now, who is Brooke Bounds Carter's boyfriend? I think they're called Lan. L-A-N or something. Short for like land, but more pronounced Lan. Yeah, man. Where's Lan at? Lan, watching in the background. Lan, the man with the plan. Oh, we'll get to that later. I mean, the timing of it. Yes, the timing, somewhat comical. But Safia, I almost agreed with her, then read her comment again. Lol. What, Brooks? Oh, we'll get to that. But yeah, let's not forget Lan. We'll get to that. Keep repeating myself. Damn it. What else? CC odd, isn't it? Caden Pressey says something and he's lying. JJ says something and it's just a different truth. I can't with these people. Well, who interpreted it that way? Was that in the chat? Robbie. It is odd, because one side says the exact same thing about Caden. I personally believe all of their stories of the night have some truth in them. It's somewhere in the middle. Okay, so some mistakes made along the way, but as for the timelines or how the stories are told, there's truth within them. So, like with Jack Newton, as messy as it can be with the things changing and switching there might be at least some truth in what Jack says, somewhere. Cece, and it likely is, but I don't believe them all. Okay, fair enough. The continued lack of self-awareness is astounding. I think some people are a little too invested in this to be objective. Brooke Bounds Carter has always been a bull in the china closet. Oh no. But she knows these people, and I can see why she does it. But these others are truly strange. I'll say one thing, CC. I don't agree that Brooke Bounds Carter is the bull in the china closet. Well, or just the shop itself. The only bull round here is warlike wrath, man. I mean, clumsy as they come, knocking things all over the place, pots and pans, absolute disaster at times, man. Breaking things left, right and centre, ripping doors off hinges. True story as well. But of course, if I'm a bull, well then it means there's probably going to be a ring in between my nose. And to be honest, I don't really want that. What's going to happen next? Oh yeah, Brooke Bounds Carter's going to apply a fucking gold-studded ring in the nose of Warlike Wrath, pull him around, introduce him to Lan, and apply a fucking saddle on him. What the hell you think I am? I'm not going to be ridden all day long, man. I'm dehydrated. But speaking of which, Brooke says, and who do you personally know in this case? CC, no one. That's why I'm not physically invested in it. Okay. Brooke, hard to believe. Every single comment you make is pro Caden Pressey and Alicia and negative towards JJ. That's just crazy. How is it negative towards JJ? I'm pretty sure I saw him say it was Avery Combs that introduced them, and if he says he didn't, where's the crime in who or how he was introduced? There isn't one. The only crime here is the one perpetrated on Presgrave. That's the focus of this page. All these extraneous things, they do not matter in this case. Brooke says, you've made more than that comment about JJ. What about JJ figure? What, his build? Remember that comment? If you don't know anyone involved, how would you have any idea what size he is or speak on his size? What, in terms of the height of JJ, his build or something. Cece, I saw a picture of a guy with a truck at Noah Presgrove's gravesite. If it was him, skinny would not be a word anyone used to describe that person. They look tall, very buff, not a skinny person by far. Tell me how that was negative, Brooke. You need to seriously sit down, reevaluate your life, apparently. Not everything you perceive as negative is actually negative. Seek help. Brooke says, laughing my ass off, sure. Yeah, got caught. Not that sleek, honey. Right. Okay. Oh no, we've got some more responses. Cece, I thought JJ stated in a prior chat it was Avery Combs who hooked him up with Logan. Yeah, I do remember that, to be fair. Man, my head hurts trying to keep everything straight. No, I do remember that, Cece. Yeah. Save, it was Alicia said Caden introduced him to Jack. Caden and Alicia know everything to everybody else are liars. Oh no. They aren't together anymore, JJ and Logan. Story the same. Funny how they backed JJ until he disagreed with Caden Pressey. Then his mum recalls things from mums prior trying to lie about him. No wonder kid had no friends with a mother like that. They'd be worried if they had an argument his mum might frame him. Poor kid, he didn't even want to live with his mum. Per divorcee decree, she treats him like he's 12. Wait, what? Cece. Yes, I remember him saying they weren't together long. Renee... Oh, no, not Renee. Reen White says... So makes no sense, but that's why no longer friends. I feel bad for Caden. Believe they could be friends if he was allowed to be a man and not have to have his mom say who he can be friends with. So basically, a couple of these people are suggesting that Alicia Lee is controlling Caden Pressey, whether that be the narrative speech in what's been said in the case or who Caden can and can't see. That's how it's been interpreted here. But let's not forget, there was that time where Caden Pressey was at the diner with his girlfriend, with Logan, with JJ, and still in communication with Jack Newton. So there was a time post-death of Noah where they were still communicating in some way. But then it started going downhill at a point. Was it one by one? Was it in a short space of time? Who knows? Robbie Taylor to Reen. There was a screenshot where Caden asked his parents not to be rude to JJ after this happened. You can clearly see this isn't Caden's choice not to be JJ's friend, and JJ has reached out to let Caden know he cares about him. Okay. See, if it's family of family, friends, guardians, parents looking out for the children who are people of interest in the case, kind of understand it to an extent, but I guess parents can only do so much in a way because it's still relevant to the case. They can only say and do so much when they themselves weren't there at the party. Take mine, granted, JJ supposedly didn't go to the party or attend it, so there shouldn't be a major issue with JJ and Caden, right? If it was between Caden and Jack and that triangular friendship with Noah in the middle and all three of them being present at the party most of the time, at the time, yeah, there might be a bit more conflict of interest and the case and investigation active, maybe not being able to talk to one another or hang out with one another, or there's caution in between. But someone like JJ Bumpaz, why should there be traction with Caden and JJ? Why would anyone else say, no, you can't see one another, you can't be friends with one another? Why? If JJ didn't attend the party, JJ's not a person of interest, is he? Right? If there's any counterpoints, you can leave it below. Beth, then they state that them two didn't hook up till after Noah's death. So many discrepancies. No, but the thing is, Beth Rose, JJ says he hooked up with Logan after Noah's death, some months on. But it was also Alicia Lee that said the same thing in November. That in November time, that is when Logan was with JJ for a bit and then later broke up, separated. Alicia said that. JJ said that. I've seen it and heard it from both sides individually. And it's other people, strangers online, that were trying to pin JJ to the party with Logan and them being together at the time of when Noah was on the floor sleeping next to Logan. So I have seen it from the different perspectives. Seen it from the horse's mouth, supposedly, but then also seen it from Alicia, and it's consistent with JJ, or at least it was at one point. Got to acknowledge that. Cece, I can understand a mum not wanting her son to associate with people that could get him killed. More parents should give their kids insight into situations that bring harm. Caden Pressey was taught respect, and it stuck with him. I wish it had for both my kids. Sadly, it only stuck with one of them. I should have put my foot down when he kept going around kids I didn't want him to associate with. Luana, aren't both of them too old for a custody agreement? Oh, here we go. George Choden says, Alicia's previous divorcee decree specifically mentioned that Caden did not want to live with his mom. And by the way, Caden's going to be 21 soon, so what the F is his mom doing in his business anyway? And if you bothered to check out that publicly available divorcee decree, you'll find some rather interesting details. You can't make this sheet up. TLC has a new TV series banging at their doors, The Real Housewives of Texoma. Wait, is that a joke, that? Cece to George. Sigh, you know nothing about being a mother. The sacrifices you make for a child do not end at 18. Your heart is in it for life. Stop trying to pretend she shouldn't care so much because he's almost 21. No mother would ever stop trying to protect her baby if she's any kind of mother from harm. And you have to say, it isn't a good idea for Caden Pressey to be around any of those kids, not just JJ. Look at what the adults do to him here. Every time he enters the chat, this crowd has a way of trying to force the public to ignore the words he says. They're important, George. They're important, and he has every right to say what he saw. George, sigh. Think about why she chose to speak for Caden, and then balance that with Pressey's mom being mentioned on day one with OHP. Now, let that spew for a while and check it out 1.5 years later and get back to us all with what you think. Cece, I'll still feel the same, George, because I'm a mother. It doesn't change, and Caden Pressey speaks for himself. He's done it many times. Brooke responds to Cece, she is such a great mother. She got custody of her kids taken away. That's not the mothering skills I would want to possess. Take in mind these comments are publicly viewable, in case you want to go back to the previous original video of where the thread is located. Justin, they don't disagree with the 521 timeline. How does Tim Daniel know this? Save, it's called facts. Beth, Tim doesn't. He's just their parrot. Safia, who is this Tim person anyway, lol? Carl, who is Tim? Never heard that name in Noah's case. Oh no. So the reference to Tim is not someone who's a part of the case, but within the community. Last name, I believe, Daniel. Tim Daniel, who's been in my chat in recent time, and yes, it's been okay. And I believe they've been on Facebook as well previously. Justin, it's not facts, lol. George, lol. OHP knew about Pressey's mum in interviews back then, so yeah, it's a fact. Explains a lot. Beth Rose, Tim's a clown. He has no facts. He's just BBC's whatever. What, golfer? Along with George, wonder how she's repaying them since she's announced her speciality on hair. Lol. Announced, wait, what is Brooke Bounds Carter's speciality on my channel? What does that mean? Justin, it's not a fact that others don't disagree. There are other witnesses. Safia, me neither. Okay. Then we got Tamila, welcome. I believe Caden. Brooke says, good job, Raf. Thanks for keeping Noah's name out there. You're welcome. Appreciate it. And shout out to Brooke Carter for being present, and more specifically, last night for their super chat. Very positive to see. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I remember I was looking down at my phone. I was just doing something else, and then I looked up, caught a glance, top right corner of the chat. I saw like a red box, and I thought, uh-oh. When it's a red box, like a super chat, you think, wow. And then scrolled up and then realised, yeah, there we go. Then we got Glenn as well, key individual, long-time viewer. We've got Maria, hi Wallite Ref. I really don't know who to believe, JJ or Caden Pressey. But I think Caden Pressey knows more than what he is not saying, makes me think. But anyhow, thank you for covering the case. They all need to stop their BS and all should get together, find out who killed Noah Presgrove. Enough is enough with all the nonsense. I'm so sick of it. My thoughts. Justice for Noah Presgrove. Rest in peace. Fair enough. Beth with a long comment. Caden Pressey and Alicia, the mother, are only being attacked because they're witnesses, and even some in LE aren't interested to hear him or see his videos of proof, but he's now found someone on the outside who is. The LE video the investigator Caden Pressey had to get a hold of, and video leaks, is very telling. No empathy, no urgency in that video from Ellie, and afterwards Caden Pressey still had to make many calls to finally get Ellie investigator to meet with him and go over his videos and timestamps of proof, unlike the others who lawyered up, reset their phones, and the family had to get a court order for those. Same as for the property search, everything has been a process for the family, witnesses, and many more here who are being attacked and threatened for disagreeing. So Caden Pressey is a great witness. We'll break this case wide open. It's coming. It's been coming for some time, though. I mean, some people said it was going to come early, but it didn't, did it? Maria, thank you for the info. Sounds great. Can't wait for this case to be solved. Micheline, JJ has proof. Caden hasn't shown any. Caden isn't the problem. It's his lying mother. Right. So supposedly, all the times in the past when maybe Caden made a reference to being attacked or questioned, harassed, and others spoke on behalf of Caden in the community saying Caden's been given death threats, Caden's been gaslighted, and much more. That, what, all along those attacking Caden weren't, they were just questioning Alicia? Or is it now switching and transitioning up now? I mean, maybe the odd person may have made a prediction or said, is there a possibility that with time, that the dark side that may have been critical or cautious of Caden, and whilst the light side were praising Caden, would the light side or certain members from there end up turning on Caden? Who knows? Anything is possible, but there doesn't need to be any turning drastically here. Just look at it, hear it in different ways, and then see where things are at. Beth, is that why Caden Pressey is a witness? I see why the attacks make sense. Old Mike, the brother-in-law. Who's Mike? I see why you're all about defending them all. Can't wait till Caden Pressey's timeline is shown to the world. We'll see who the true liars are, huh? Beth, you and me both. Partners in True Crime on YouTube has some great interviews about Noah's case, but they have stopped since. Safia, it just feels like Noah is forgotten in all of this chaos they're causing. That's probably what they want, to call attention away from the only victim in all of this. I agree with you, Maria. Caden knows more than what he's saying. Maria says, thank you. I mean, if Caden knows more than what he's saying, in a way, there's been some little details what Caden has said recently, which he may have never said before. So who knows what else could be dropped next. So just be on the lookout. And that can apply to others. Beth Rose, crazy how we've never seen a picture or video of 40 people at the party. True. But it just so happens, Beth, Caden Pressey is the one to say that there was 40 people at the party. And there might be other partygoers that said the same thing, but Caden Pressey said himself, 40 people at the party Sunday night, when Avery's friends, Texas boys, came on down. That was mentioned Partners in True Crime interview. A few weeks before that, though, in June, before July, Caden Pressey in the private interview said that, well, 40 people showed up Friday and Saturday. That was never cleared up. Sonny, I personally don't think there was 40 people there. Dean, me either. Micheline, all those pictures, and there's only one of Jack. All those people at the party and nobody would give him a ride. What, Noah? So they must all be in on it, along with the 911 callers, the different police agencies, medical examiner, lots of people involved. I think Michelina's being sarcastic there. Teresa, they're trying to make party sound bigger than what it was. Oh, what, like a diversion? If that's really the case, though, then why is Caden Pressey saying that there was 40 people at the party then? It's not just the dark side maybe saying 40 people. Caden said it himself. Noah probably wanted to go home for good reason, or got bored as F. Remember, he texted his aunt saying, "I wish I would have went with you." Who was the 16-year-old he wanted to take to concert? Did 16-year-old go to party house? 16-year-old at the time. Wait, is that... Oh God, not this again. Is this to do with Noah's girlfriend at the time? Or a different one? Beth says, it was his girlfriend, and no, she wasn't there at the party, but it was stated that Noah talked to her around 11 p.m. Sunday night and said that his phone was dying. Wonder what else he told her. Well, that's the first I've heard of that. And I'm guessing that this girlfriend at the time was not Fallon, but Fallin or Phelan, depending how you pronounce it. Same individual at the end of the day, but how you spell it is completely bloody different, and we'll get to that in just a second once I finish these comments off. Beth, I sure wish his aunt, Robin Smith, would have allowed his girlfriend, Phelan, to go with them, and Noah would have never gone to the party, but I understand her age and all. But the other thing is, even if Noah had avoided the party or avoided returning back and went elsewhere with family or girlfriend to do whatever, would it have prevented Noah's death in the future? For as long as Noah Presgrove, if you're basing it off a possible murder theory, more so, but still the possibilities of some other kind of accidental death in some way, or mysterious death, for as long as Noah Presgrove spent in the area or community around the same set of individuals and had future parties in the future, there was always... and still, forever, that chance in the future that something could go wrong and death could follow. Maybe it didn't happen now. Maybe it was prevented now. Pushed back into the future. If Noah Presgrove had moved away completely, if Noah Presgrove had joined the army within reason and there wasn't too much danger there, he could be alive for a lot longer. It depends how you look at it. Moving on. Safia, me neither. No proof yet again. Because he was being abused at the party? Wait, who? Noah? Teresa, that would explain no consent to search. The phone calls for a ride, denied ride home, maybe he didn't want any of the girls. They self-rejected, started, pressured, lured, set up when they had him come back to the party again. Whoever said petition the feds to get off standby and take over now was excellent, ideal. Wonder why Jan the lawyer. What? Jan the lawyer? I didn't think Jan was a lawyer. Or the three private eyes, don't do that, even Miss Pro Bono. Called friends. Yeah, I get a bit lost. Okay. Renee Milan is covering up for her nieces, it's obvious to me, along with many other family members of the partygoers. Sabotage is a great way to put it, Raf. See, you might have the Milan family or certain members of the Milan family which could be considered or labelled as dodgy in the case, but then you've got Justin Roy and his family of family in which some of them are married into the Milan family. So are there any conflicts of interest there of what can and can't be said, or does anyone feel trapped from a certain family's perspective? Micheline, lol, you really are clueless. Beth, oh, if you only knew. I know you're a joke. Right, so got some cat fights going on. Many were minors, so of course Renee Milan wanted to start clearing out the minors, beer, etc. to protect her family, in my opinion. Micheline, actually, it was Caden's idea to clean the beer cans because he said they thought it would be underage drinking. They didn't know what happened to Noah. Beth, oh, I'm sure it was at the discretion of Renee Milan. She's pretty vile and adamant about saying all their rear ends, you know, like you. Val families to stick together. Well, what I do have to say is Micheline is correct here, just like how Robbie Taylor was correct earlier. Beth Rose. No, this is not Warlight Raff joining the dark side. This is Warlight Raff being realistic, making observations in general from what I can remember. Caden Pressey said himself. You can see it either in the Partners in True Crime interview or maybe more so the private police recorded leaked interview. Caden Pressey said himself he made the decision. He decided to clean up the cans. He wanted to clear any, questionable evidence to try and protect himself, more so to protect all the other party goers. He didn't want anyone to get in trouble for underage drinking. Caden was looking out for other people. Caden being selfless, which is a positive of Caden Pressey himself. But to say that Renee was the one who influenced Caden, or Renee was the one that actually told or demanded them to do this or that, no. Caden said he made the idea. He took action himself. So, yeah. Beth, who were the adults there at the party house? See, you know what the problem is? When people say who were the adults at the party house, it would be basically anyone that was of the age of 18 or above. So to say who was an adult at the party, well, Caden Pressey was. Noah Presgrove was. They were 19 at the time. Maybe Jack Newton as well. Avery Combs, 22-year-old at the time, an adult. Anyone of the age of 18 or above is technically considered an adult, more so a young adult. Still under the age of drinking, that age requirement, because you've got to be 21, but still, adult age. So there would... Okay, you had Mikey Lair, that, 16 or more so 17 years old at the party, so he was not an adult. Georgia Brealey, they weren't adults because they were like 15-year-olds. So it's a handful of different people. As for Texas boys, were they 18 or above? Justin Roy's Family of Family, were they 18 or above or underage? It's a bit of a mixture. If Beth Rose was saying adults as in parents, well, yeah, they're adults as well, but I think it would be better to use the term whose parents were there, if that's what we're getting at. Safia, I've always believed that Caleb and Colton Newton were there. Beth, same. Then who was drinking with Victor Presgrove then elsewhere? Says Dutton. But can we just make one thing very clear? That in this case, you get certain people in some communities that refer to the party goers as kids. Technically, they're not kids, are they? But then from the other perspective, other communities, you got people that refer to, were there any adults at the party? Of course there was. Noah Presgrove was an adult. He was over the age of 18, which is technically meaning you're an adult. Unless it differs in the US. I mean, in the UK, if you're 18 or above, you are a adult. So, you know, do people get where I'm coming from? Who was an adult at the party? Noah Presgrove, Caden Pressey, maybe Jack, some of the girls, etc. Avery, of course. If you used to say adults as in parents, we should say which parents were at the party. Was it Caleb? Was it Stevie Howard? Was it Renee Millan? Was it Brooke Bounds Carter in some way indirectly? Was it anyone else in between? You know, as examples. I mean, people might get mixed up with the wording at times, so I just wanted to try and clear that up as I could. Twinkling Twilight Star. Shout out to them for their support on the channel. Thanks, Raf, for the continued coverage. Keep it up. So appreciate that, and will do. More videos to come, and we'll see what happens next. Sonny, I believe Caden Pressey. Safia, I don't believe Caden Pressey 100%, but do believe he's telling the truth about key points. It's been proven that he's lied a couple of times at least. So why did he lie is the real question. Is that what then ties on to what other people are suggesting, that Alicia plays a role there, putting words into Caden's mouth, then it makes Caden look bad, then Caden takes the flack for it? Carl, me too. Dean, what has Caden lied about? Safia, listen to OHP and Partners in True Crime interviews and you'll hear where he lied. See, the way I would word it, I wouldn't say that Caden Pressey has lied, but Caden Pressey's reconstruction or retelling the timeline of what he knows and remembers from the police one to the Partners in True Crime interview, weeks apart, maybe just under a month apart, they are drastically different. Are they lies or mistakes? Getting mixed up, confused? Who knows? But there's definitely inconsistencies at least. Dean, I believe Caden, fair enough. We got Bed Crime Stories, Big D, Raf. You walk the perfect line between seriousness and humour. I appreciate your dedication to this case. You have the best grasp of all the details. Well, that's kind of you to say. Appreciate that. And as for the reference to Big D, that's just somebody else's username when I tried shortening it, but it actually ended up sounding worse than what it was originally. But big shout out to Bed Crime Stories for still being around, watching and following this case. All kinds of stuff going on in recent time. If you want to check back, catch up with some of the previous snaps, and you're welcome to do so. Oh no, I just saw that name then. Carl, I finally finished this video Saturday, 10 p.m. PST, and it cracked me up, Warlight Ref, when you said, I don't know what the F happened to my hair. Lol. Also, Big Black Dildo Detective might have items on the larger side. Good for them, lol. And other people have their own tools. Give me more kisses, Sharon. I have the biggest vibrator and banana. Some don't want to hear about it anymore, but if in doubt, whip it out. Oh, so funny. BBC feeding her horses bananas, but not Warlight Refs because it's so big. Oh no, don't be corrupted in your mind. So basically, what Carl has done there is given a bit of a transcript in regards to what I said in my video, but he didn't use quotation marks. It sounds like Carl saying it himself. Oh no. And speaking of Sharon, I will be seeing you later when it comes to that makeup time. Oh, that can be interpreted in different ways. Shite. Carl, good job. Well, I appreciate that. Teresa, is it true she took the guns? Renee. Right, Teresa is referring to Renee Milan here in taking guns to Caleb's house. Is that why? Why kids take their own guns home? Why Jack didn't take his dad's high-powered rifle home? Why no consent to search house? Why reporters not asking questions like this? Or emulsion wound can be caused by bullet, even touching target. What kind of ammo was the plane with drunk on property? I don't know. Oh my goodness, I'm getting long. Is it a rumour that Noah's dad Victor and Jack's dad Caleb was at the bar together when Noah was killed? Well, people have been referring to that, or at least at the time of when Noah called Victor the father about lift home and Victor said no. Are they both cops, if true? And Noah was killed by accident, for example, with weapon playing around drunk? Would Noah's dad lie for Caleb if Caleb was at party due to the cops? Blue Blood Code, forgot what they call it. They will cover for the other and not speak up. But if Noah or Slap Boy, who's Slap Boy? You mean Brylan Sweat? Brought 300 blackout rifle to party accidentally, shot past another kid's head. Caleb and others would be asking same questions most of us are asking, and Noah or Brown Sweat would have been arrested the morning. In my opinion, no guns would have been moved perhaps as well. What, because it's not a kid laying dead? These are questions, not statements for you crackheads that don't know the difference. My question mark broke. Who's Mark? To call, speak and leave a message. Oh, more. Seems the party girls are saying everyone else is lying is what I got that they've brought to the table, ignored factual, relevant questions, but maybe I missed a few chats or comments. Denied a ride home, saying they were too drunk to drive, but a couple hours later they drive what they sobered up that fast to drive themselves home. Brylan Sweat got busy moving guns before cops knocked, not knowing he would be able to get a warrant that fast, and the owners brought their own guns. Okay. And that's it for the comments there. So we finally catched up. With that all being said, the main focus and purpose of this video today was to show you a new Snapchat photo, which was around the same time, basically, as the original one, what we saw, 527. So it still seems to stand. It just provides a bit more context behind what Mikey was doing. He was just casually in bed, not asleep, but awake. And links with Jack Newton, where Jack said, well, when I was awake, Mikey was still awake, as if he never went to sleep. Though, obviously with Caden Pressey mentioning about Mikey sleeping on the floor, for how long exactly? And how much did Mikey move about in between? Still, it's weird that Caden Pressey says one thing, then there is hard evidence that states another. Of course, if it could ever be revealed publicly from Caden Pressey's point of view, a form of hard evidence, that would be good as well. It could be one of those things where you should just be able to believe Caden Pressey and his word, but obviously it makes it just a little bit harder, and that's only because of that private police recorded interview that was leaked. If that was never leaked and you only had the Partners in True Crime interview, there wouldn't be as many inconsistencies or things to compare to then pick up on the inconsistencies. That's all I'm saying. As for the likes of Brylan, Mikey, or not so much Mikey, but Brylan and Isaac, what do they think of Caden Pressey? how much do they acknowledge or back up Caden? Because publicly I've never really seen it before. There might be reasons for it, fair enough, but it'd be good to see a little bit more backup on Caden Pressy's side from other witnesses, people of interest, because it still seems like it's Caden Pressy against everyone. Maybe not always in a negative way, but just as in what one saw at a time compared to what other people saw at a different time. It's kind of unfortunate that. But in terms of any shifts or changes where people may have been highlighting that the blame or the attacks or just the questioning ends up increasing with time, that those that once supported or believed in Caden end up turning on Caden, or in a more appropriate way of wording, no longer believe him or are a little bit more skeptical than before. Will that happen? I guess it also comes down to and depends on what comes out next as for evidence or screenshots or counterpoints. People can still be critical of these Snapchat posts and people can still say that they're manipulated, okay. But if there's no evidence to back up the manipulation, just words, I don't think it's strong enough. In the meantime though, whatever material is present and what can be worked with will be presented on this channel, and then you can play around with it yourself to try and figure out what's really going on, and even maybe the timing of it. Is the timing off? And I don't mean the timing as in the Snapchat post, but the timing of when it's come about within knowledge and more. As for the white shorts, I'll try and look into that and see what happens. And anything else in between, I'll try and apply or compare. There will be some video ideas and loose ones which can come out. Maybe the length of them, not as long, but still somewhat important. And some looser videos or theories that can build with strength with time amongst discussions from one video to another. It can all help, and that can be contributed by people that just simply watch and comment or chat in live. So it's all good there. If anyone has joined this live premiere though late, I do advise you to rewind back to the beginning right now, because what we're going to transition on to next is an indirect viewer requested surprise, in which, more so because of last night being the deciding factor, that warlike Raph was supposedly paid off in accessories, jewellery, transplants, lifts and makeup, is coming full circle now where it's going to be applied to myself. And because of Beauty Garumo being present, some kind of crossover, I forgot what you call it, collaboration kicking on in. Wow, I might have to change my voice as well for this, just for it to work. As for the hair, well, I'm not going to be applying that just yet, because to those that were familiar in the past when I was wearing it, when I accidentally bumped my ass, well, I got a bit of stuff on the hair and I had to try and wash it off, so it got a bit messy. I'll keep it natural as it is for now. But in all seriousness, we're transitioning away from the Noah Presgrove case right now, transitioning away and doing something different, as in like a topic. But oh my God, don't even try and get petty ass with me, because at the end of the day, yeah, I was looking at the statistics. Yeah, I really love the statistics. When I go online and see all the numbers, it's really heartwarming, heartfelt. It really makes me feel like, oh my God. So when I was checking the statistics, I realized that there was a lot of homegirls watching. That's really great, you know, just really comforting to know. So obviously this theme and topic will be really relevant and relatable to people. Oh my God, Beauty Garumo, already wanting to give high fives out. Your hand's going to be red raw. My goodness, you keep roaring. Yeah, there we go. There's the collab immediately kicking on in. So I got a few brushes. Yeah. And I'll talk normal for this part, because to be honest, there's a reference. I got a handful of brushes here. Obviously, high-end, high-quality, extremely expensive brushes which have been passed on by Sharon who is a complete expert when it comes to hair, an expert when it comes to makeup. It's all in the profile picture. It's very telling, but obviously naturally just as great, if not better. Sharon has it all under control, basically. As for the brushes, there was one that I was not allowed to touch, and that was the rather large brush, and that's because she uses it for her hair to try and tame it, because it's quite long. So obviously I don't have access to that, but these will do. Obviously earlier on I said me and Sharon will make up, but I think I got the wording mixed at the time. What I meant was makeup as in collaboration with the brushes. Yeah, nothing else, right? So the brushes are a little bit wet. Don't know why, but I guess it will help with applying the stuff and it's sticking to it. So yeah, shout out to Sharon there. And as for the makeup, which some could say, what the hell's going on here? Got a couple of colours, right? We've got this one here. We got this one there. It's got some white residue on the side, fingerprints. Oh no, better not be caught in a crime. And some blue as well. And some unknown, unusual powder, whatever that is. It's white. So yeah, we'll be explaining that a bit later. But obviously, shout out to Beauty Gurumo for handing these over. This was not done as a bribe. This was not done as some kind of conspiracy in order for Warlight Ref to give a shout out to Beauty Gurumo to check her TikTok page out and grow even more followers by the second. No underhand tactics, nothing dodgy going on whatsoever. These were just gifted by Beauty, okay? High quality, 24/7 protective makeup. Great for the really dry, rough conditions and when it gets real wet, because you know, when homegirls are walking around in the streets, yeah, unlike Warlight Raf stuck in a petty ass red light district, completely different situation. Because my name's Whore-like Raf, exactly. But for anyone else walking, yeah, hanging out, oh my goodness, please get a grip of yourself. You need makeup 24 protection. The harsh elements and environments get real rough and dirty outside. It can be very tiring and low energy. So you really got to conserve it and try and build it up as you can go along. Oh my God, stop. So anyway, getting a bit too excited there. And I've already squirted a bit already, as for the stuff in the pots, and then it's just going to be applied. I do feel sorry for anyone that does join this video late, thinking, what's going on here? If Jan Fiorillo shows up late again, thinking, wait, isn't this supposed to be about the case? What's going on here? Well, rewind back and you'll find out, okay? So what brush do I use for what item? Sharon, give me tips. I need big tips, okay? In any way or any form, that will help. So, we've got some stuff here. Oh no. Has this been provided by Brooke Bounds Carter? No, man, not dealing in that type. This white powder is not what you think. Don't you worry, it's all above board. But I'll say one thing. Speaking of conspiracies along the way, like when someone was referencing, what was he called? Lan? What the hell's Lan? Landing? I don't know. Lan and his size 15 leaving footprints all about the house without cleaning up at the party? Oh, goodness. We don't want Lan getting dragged into things. Lan the man is going to break back his saddle. Oh no, poor horses, no more saddles. What are we going to do? We'll have to make some handcrafted ones in between. But of course, if there's any leftover makeup, I'm sure Beauty Gurumo said she's paying Brooke Bounds Carter a visit, more so for the hot tub. But maybe some of the makeup can be applied to the horses as well because it's animal friendly, supposedly. By the way, Beauty Gurumo has got a 10% discount code on her TikTok page, on her TikTok store, whatever that is. Be sure to check it out, okay? And speaking of which, I can do the Chills voice from YouTube. I don't know if anyone's heard of the YouTube channel Chills, the paranormal one, where it says, Number 5, recently Warlike Rav was trying to apply some makeup, but there was a strange bang at the door behind. Who knows what it could be? CCTV footage shows. To be honest, I can't multitask, okay? Maybe some other people can multitask very well, but I can't. What the fuck am I doing? This is weird. You know. So what's going to happen here is you're going to apply some powder like that. Great. Perfect. It's going everywhere. It's all over the lap. Yeah? Can I say Christmas or dandruff, to be honest? Perfect. Yeah? Maybe I should just slap myself with it. My eyebrows have gone white already. This is great. Oh God, I've got it all over. I've got all white powder on me. Better not get pulled over. You know what? I'm going to shove it, get the fingers in. I'm going to finger my face because that's the only way it will work. Yeah, this is really good. Oh my God, it's so sensitive and smooth on the skin. Exactly what I need. I wish it was a bit more darker in contrast, but you know, obviously I'm not an expert. Jeez, guys, this is going to look so cringe at the end of it. I've actually got more of this on my clothing than I have on my face, so that's obviously going really well. I think what I need to do, come on, Beauty Gurimo. You're the expert here. You're supposed to do it yourself. Come on. Yeah. This is not the slap contest, but we apply some blush as well. Don't worry, Beauty, you do not need to waste any of your makeup there. You just slap me across the face and it'll make the cheeks red anyway. Or I'm sure there's someone else, if any strawberries laying about, that will help. Go on. Yeah? Oh my God, do it harder, please. Actually, I've got to be careful I don't get it on the phone, to be honest, because I don't want all dust clogging up the phone. I forgot about that. Right, so what happens once you've got so much on? I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I'm turning into a ghost. Oh my God, this is so pretty. I know some people might be getting a little bit jelly. Some people may get want some feedback. Well, I don't know at this moment in time. I'm gonna baptize myself in this. There we go. Obviously, I can't get in trouble or get done for this because I'm already, the way I am. So if you had to rate the product, what would you rate it out of 10? Well, because Beauty Gurimo is here and I'm not being held at knife point nor gun point, I'll say 8.5. Is that good enough? Yeah? Perfect. And last bit on the head. I think the contrast is a little bit too light for me. It should be a bit darker, the darker shades. My hair's going white as well. If you didn't believe me in terms of the top, there you go. All powder on me can all be explained. Every time I move, it just creates a cloud. Okay? So what are we going to do now? Well, to be honest, the lips need to be a little bit more red. Do they not? Exactly. Let's brush that off there. Oh my goodness. There we go. So how do we make the lips more red? Maybe there's one individual. Sharon, do you have any emojis remaining which can be sent this way to make these a little bit more red? Do you have any suggestions or ideas? What's that, Sharon? Just need to get a little bit closer. Why? Okay, hi there. Welcome. Nice to meet you. No, this is not a doctor's appointment, by the way. But, you know how to make it red? Right, go on then, show me. Yeah? That's rather cold. Why is that? Ah! Ouch! What were you doing then? My goodness! Sharon, how could you? You just bit my lip. You're not supposed to be doing that. So it appears that Sharon has accidentally made the lip a little bit too red. Yeah, just a little bit there, as you can see. It'll heal though, but it is trickling down just a little bit. And don't worry, YouTube. No. Trained professional here. You caught me red-handed. Oh, my tip's red. Okay. So because of that, I think the lower part needs to be spread out a little bit. And we're going to use a bigger brush, to be honest, because I'm sick with these tiny little tips. Okay, big tips, more successful. There we go. Nice and cold. Is it going to stain? Does it look like I'm a man that gives a damn right now? We'll just get Lan in later. You can review it. Probably get confused who this is. So basically, this colour actually represents almost the colour of Brooke Bounce-Carter's dress. Where did it come from? I don't know. Do I care? Nope, because I'm a petty-ass bitch. Okay? Perfect. So at least the brush is actually doing the correct job. Oh my God. Probably end up looking like some Joker or something. Wow. So really what the white questionable powder does, it acts as some kind of adhesive or whatever it is, all the expert medical makeup terms, which actually allows the paint, allows the makeup to actually stick to the surface and it will not peel off. That's really, really high quality, of course. So that's what goes on there. Oh my God. Making my lips pink now. Do I want pink lips? I don't know. But someone said that they've got a pink eye. No, it wasn't a pink eye. Shit, it was a brown eye, wasn't it? Don't know if it's the same thing. I've got brown eyes. So I've plastered myself, which is great. Amazing. I've got a red beard now. And if I feel a little bit naughty, I'm going to actually apply some blue paint. My God. Is this a crossover with some kind of Vanessa Salazar eyeliner range? Oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble for that. There we go, wow. Literally look like a superhero ready to rescue someone from a building, really turning into the inner Superman within, and really super as I go along. Oh no, we're getting a bit of a cross conflict here. Just like the chat at times, we've got some conflict. It's clashing with the red. Oh my goodness, what are we gonna do with that? I'm turning into the people. Oh my God, if I apply some little stars, maybe I can create some kind of flag. Wait, why is this looking like the Russian flag? Oh shit. Well, it's not planned, don't worry. This is perfect. And of course, we've got to do it on top. Wow. Beauty Garuma, I bet you thought you wouldn't be seeing this. It's perfect. And of course, as for any outsiders that end up coming along into my channel, and they'll be thinking, who the fuck is this individual? Don't worry. This is all under control. Because if it's not under control, those handcuffs will be coming out anytime soon, okay? So we've got some really good colors. It's burning my face. My goodness, Beauty Gurumo. I thought you could have told me a bit sooner. I'm getting really hot right now. And no, that's not because I feel hot, or I am hot, because I know I look perfect as I am. My goodness, Beauty, don't make me cry. I'm getting really emotional right now. I'm trying to express my emotions. Just like you express your emotions, Beauty, when you spend 6 hours editing. I know, we can relate, we're creators. But you know what's really needed? More white powder. Why not just slap it on, or whatever's left of it? There we go. Perfect. Oh shit, I just got it in my eye. Even better, really adds to the, the overall pain experience, because, with pleasure there is pain. Okay, that's a bit of a weird sentence. Now, what happens next is the final shade. My God, this is taking a bit too long, I better hurry up. So because Sharon ended up making the lips a bit too red, I ended up bleeding everywhere, and now it's all over the face as some kind of secret makeup. What? We're just going to paint the lips? Oh, yeah. Perfect. What a fucking mess I look. Now, I know there'll be some people that get really jelly because I'm doing a better job applying it than what most people could probably apply themselves. But don't worry. When you learn from the doctor, you advance and grow. When you learn from the expert of applying makeup, you will understand. And to be honest, arguably speaking, maybe Beauty Gurumo, you can actually learn a few tips yourself and apply this style to one of your next videos, because I'm sure it'll work out very well. And as for Sharon, well, maybe the black lips may work better in the darkness. And let's not forget Brooke Bounds Carter's earrings. Over 100 of them, or weighing 100 pounds in weight, which will pull me down and stretch my ears till the bulls come home. What are they? Unusual earrings. I don't know how they quite clip on. If they even do clip on. Give me a second. This might take a second or two. Oh my God, what a complex device this is. Yeah, so Brooke going for the low-hanging earrings. Oh my God. There we go. Dangling, making the ears a little bit more red. And of course, if Beauty Gurumo runs out of certain, blush makeup, all you have to do is say something positive and it'll be good enough. In terms of me watching the live premiere afterwards, not to break the fourth wall, but I probably will not be watching this part of the clip because I'll be cringing too much in the chair. I'll probably end up having my hand in my face or something. So we're getting a real burning effect now. My face is burning, my ears are really burning. And then the final tip, what you would apply, and it's probably gonna go all over the place. Oh, I got it. It really did, didn't it? Shit. There we go. Oh my God, is that Brooke Bounce Carter? No, it's Warlight Raph. Don't worry, Lan. Don't get misidentified. It's all fine. This is someone completely different, out of this world. Not even from Mars, from the black hole. It's about to suck everything in and spit it back out because it's a complete disaster. Why is my neck gone so red? Oh my God, beauty chemical reaction. That's what I want. I want to go naturally red all over and turn into a lobster or a crab. That's great. So how far down has it gone? Well, we're not going to go too far down. No, you can subscribe to Warlight Raph's OnlyFans for that. But I think that summarizes it for today. We'll find out if I still look like this tomorrow. Maybe. But thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. My name's Warlight Raph. Goodbye. Good night for now.